Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. It is winter, and we're going to do our top 10 winter fragrances, or my top 10, the ones that I'm enjoying this year in particular. And it is the year 2024. So every year I do another winter selection, depending on my mood, how things evolve. 2023 was difficult. Here's hoping for a better 2024 than 2023 was. I have generated this backdrop for a reason. Um, it is wintry, but I wanted to add some warmth in the air on purpose, right? So I prompted Bubbles, my AI bot, to generate a landscape kind of in the city, going towards the suburbs. It is winter, so we do have snow, we do have ice, but there's warmth. There's something cozy in the air. Could be menacing, because how can something warm and cozy happen during a cold winter where stuff is frozen and there's snow everywhere? Well, that's the mood I'm feeling. And that's why this background. So subscribe to my channel before we get to the selection of the perfumes. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon. superdacob all spelled together there as well for extra perks. Thank you to all my members and patrons who have already pledged. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream several times a week on my main Super Dacob YouTube channel. Go join me there for the live chats. It's a lot of fun. Let's get to the first perfume. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. Thumb up the video if you're liking it thus far, even though thus far we have not seen a perfume yet. Well, we're going to see one right now. It's this winter for me. It's quite a cold winter where I'm at the moment, but I've been traveling a lot, so I'm all over the place. But I have been feeling that need to feel safe. I don't know about you, but that's how it's been for me. I have been feeling the need to feel cozy and cuddled and cradled. In the past, I would make selections for the winter season. They would be a little bit edgier. I would play with like summery fragrances in winter just to like kind of contrast and combat the cold. This year, I'm like, you know what? Life comes as it wants to come, come as you may. Like the ebb and the flood. I take it, I let it wash over me and retract. Life serves you lemons, you make lemonade, that whole shebang. Except I'm just trying to pamper myself. I don't know, I feel like maybe because it's also election year, brace yourselves. I'm bracing myself. So I'm playing in that field of I need to feel warm. I need to feel cozy, safe, cradled. So the first one is the green version, and I'm using a green screen here, so the green kind of appears a little bit yellowy, but Au Noir by Christian Dior. And this is the pre-decoloration of the green color, because as Francis Courjan came to Dior as artistic director or perfume director, he kind of brought back Au Noir without the green color, and the smell has changed. So I do have the newest version from Francis, but Au Noir, Eau de Parfum, I also have Eau de Cologne from the early 2000s still. But I do like the Eau de Parfum in the green, poison green version still very much. I'm really glad that I stocked up on this. So I do have another full 250 ml bottle. And I still have kind of half of this, and I have a little, almost half of the Eau de Cologne left. So this brings back fond memories of 2010, 2011. I was at an artist, I had a grant, like a artist in residence program somewhere in a very snowy place. Anyway, uh, I wore this that winter, and it gave me such. And I was isolated. It was a lonely place. It was outside of society. It was made on purpose to kind of make you feel nature. It was beautiful, beautiful experience. And it's been a while since I felt those emotions. This winter, I'm feeling them again. I don't know why. Maybe because I've been traveling in a particular pattern again, like back in the day, and I've been feeling those vibes, that feeling of silence that you get when there's snow all around you and it absorbs sound, and you just feel that icy silence. And this contrasts that because there's warmth in here. I mean, you have the licorice, you have the burnt woods, the spices. It almost smells a little bit like a McGriddle, which maple syrup vibes. So the licorice, but also the fennel, the um, immortel. It's a very, very interesting fragrance that apparently was commissioned by Hedi Slimane back in the early 2000s to be his private perfume while he's at Dior. So Francis Kurkdjian kind of allegedly developed this one for him, and it also went into sale and production. It's a very, very groundbreaking perfume for that time. Truth be told, still today, there's a warmth in here that, man, it's just so majestic. It's almost gourmand, and it's very, very much baroque and daring. I mean, it's called black water, even though it's kind of green. It's a beautiful cocoon, to be enveloped in the cold gray weather. Also really beautiful in humid cold weather, damp, mushy when the snow starts melting and everything is yucky all around you. This one really combats that and sets a tone for safety, coziness, good vibes. It allows your mind to drift away from all that yuck. So, love it. Love, 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 love. Love me some Noir this winter. If you can get the green version, it's a little bit more intense than the pale one. Coincidentally, I'm so happy. Finally, I got a sample also of the little one. I know that these have been in production, and I'm like, I'm not going to miss out on an Eau Noire miniature because they have not been making the miniatures of the green version. But now that Eau Noire came out again in the kind of this yellowy liquid, they have made the miniature, and I finally got one. I'm so excited for this, to complete my collection of all the sizes. Well, I still need the 450 mil, or is it a 400 mil? Yeah, that one I don't have. That was huge. But cute. Cutie patootie. Love me Eau Noire. Now the next one is patchouli and white chocolate, sophistication, lacquered, Byzantine vibes. We're talking black and gold. We're talking this kind of hue of, amber gold mixed in with white chocolate. And then patchouli, which these houses might have some patchouli in them somehow. And that would be Coromandel by Chanel. This one is very, 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 very beautiful. You see what it does to me? I kind of just sink when I smell it. It's an automatic response. It doesn't matter if you have the eau de toilette, the eau de parfum, the extrait of Coromandel. All three are beautiful in their own way. It balances me out, it just resets my vibe. I might be cranky, grumpy because the weather is not so nice outside. And then, I smell Coromandel and I just go, oh, we'll go, we'll go. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's all good, boo. It's all good. Life can just keep doing what it do. I'm fine. I'm good. It almost gives me that patchouli-esque high and that white chocolate in the dry down. Oof. What a masterpiece of a perfume. Really. And for the longest time, I've been kind of ignoring it. I mean, this was the first one that I, kind of discovered from the new Les Exclusives. By new, I mean not one of the original four, being Gardenia, Bois des Îles, Quai de Russie, and number 22. Those are the OG. You cannot touch them. So of the new released ones, from 2006/2007, this was the first one I kind of gravitated towards because it screams at you. It's omnipresent and potent. And then slowly after you discover this one, you discover the other ones that are more delicate, more refined, more sophisticated even than this one. Yes, 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 they are. But you kind of go back to Coromandel sooner or later, and you miss because you miss it. It's always been there waiting for you, saying, you're going to need me. When you feel weirdly insecure and the cold is getting to you and the year feels like it's a weird year, you're going to come back to me and I'll be there for you. And it's literally those lacquered Coromandel panels from 31 Rue Cambon, Coco's apartment, transformed into this beautiful Byzantine Baroque vision for a perfume. It's just, it does add that color to a cold winter day. It really adds that gold tapestry, lacquered black and gold tapestry. So much needed this winter for me. That was my number 2. Thumb up this video and subscribe if you're enjoying it. It means the world to me, and it's really important for the algorithm as well. Thank you, guys. The next one, and I wonder why the best ones have to be limited edition. Really irks me, because finally I found a version of Shalimar that I adore above all others. Seriously, I know this is insane, but I actually really like this one more than the regular Shalimar. And I adore my Shalimar. This is Millésime d'Iris, the Iris Millésime of Shalimar, limited edition. Oh, it's so beautiful. Why, oh why? It's the vanilla iris mix in here. The Guerlinade mixed with that iris. It is, the vanilla is so rich and boozy. Oh man, it's like a brandy vanilla. And then that iris just powders everything up and dries it out, that booze. It's just really beautiful. I mean, I've had this only like a couple of weeks now, 2 weeks. Half a bottle is empty. That's how much I've been using. It's that good. It's that good. It's so rich. And I don't mean that it smells rich. You know how some people like to say, oh, when you wear this perfume, you smell like you are rich money-wise. No. We're not talking about vulgarity, please. Money is vulgar. No, when I say rich, this is a richness of the soul. You feel like when I smell this in the gray, cold winter days, it just kind of catapults me to another stratosphere where, like, I don't care about the weather anymore. All I care about is the next intellectual stimulation. I'm going to a museum, reading an intense book, poetry, painting, sculpture, architecture, you know, we're talking theater, opera. This is rich culturally. This perfume smells of European culture. And that's the richness of this perfume. It is beautiful, really, really beautiful. And it satiates you. It almost, you know, this perfume smells the way a culturally stimulating art piece makes you feel. That's how this perfume smells. And it warms your soul in the depths of winter. I just adore it. Guerlain, if you ever listen and watch, please consider bringing this one into your regular roster. Or at least for a little bit, produce at least a couple more batches of this, seriously. So anyway, there's that. Now, obviously, even though it's winter, me being a huge lover of white florals, of course I'm going to have my white florals in winter, but I'm going to find the white florals that really work for me in winter. So they're going to be warm. Usually white florals are slightly cooler. They're intended usually for summer. Well, not all of them, because I have a really, really good one for winter all year round, but it's really, really beautiful now. And here's another Dior for you. And this is the OG version of Pure Poison from 2004 or 2003. No, 2004. You see it has that pearlescent bottle with the white stopper and the purple ring. Dominique Ropillon with Olivier Polge. Believe it or not, the nose is behind this one. It is a warm, buttery gardenia. A musky, warm, ambrosial gardenia. So it's not a cold white floral. It is warm. It's so buttery beautiful, right? It warms you up in winter. And I don't like the current formula that you get in the new bottles. It just smells cheap to me. Screechy. The reformulation is not good. The ingredients are not top notch. Just, you know, my humble opinion only. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion, obviously. So Dior, you know, my apologies to you, you know, or LVMH, actually, who owns Dior, but Zumbetta. The OG Pure Poison, I mean, it is pure, right? But there, you see, they've nailed it even in the bottle with this kind of look at this pearlescence. It's warm on the inside, and it has that white that looks cold like snow, but then it has this gorgeous metallic purple with more snow on top. It's powdery, fluffy. It is so gorgeous. You know, it also has a makeup-y accord in it, and it's such a beautiful, masterful blend of cold and warm, but then it ends up warm with the musks and that gardenia blended together. It's particularly beautiful on very gray winter days. Why? Because it gives you hope. Because it makes you smell around you like a vibe of blossom, like blooming flowers, right? But in winter. And when flowers bloom, technically we envision spring and we think of course, there are flowers that also bloom in winter, obviously. But this type of smell makes you kind of feel like, despite the ugly weather and the weird vibes, you're still in a beautiful place, and mentally life has sprung. You know what I mean? So hopeful, so beautiful, so musky, delicious for winter. And that would be Pure Poison or Poison by Christian Dior. Huh? We'll go. I found somebody who was selling dead stock of the first batches. I bought them all. So I have a few bottles, 30 mil, 50 mil. I just cannot live without this. Beautiful this winter. The next one is intense, deep. A gazillion ingredients, you know, from the civet to the patchouli to the vanilla to clove to roses to smoky leather, suede, accord, what we used to call oriental and do not call no more. We're going to call it ambery. I prefer to call it Byzantine or Baroque. The one and only queen, king, whatever have you. You know, perfumes know no gender in my book. The one and only opium for winter. I mean, this is the extrait or the parfum. Unfortunately, no longer in production in the parfum concentration, but still readily available on pre-loved markets because it's been produced for like decades. So there's a lot of it, you know, pre-loved going around. Just be careful that, you know, don't get a non-authentic one. Opium. This is the one that makes you feel like you can rush out of your house into this wintry cold. But there's that ambery sky, right? That perfume sky that makes you feel like you can overcome anything. So you just put on a negligee or just underwear, you know what I mean? And a trench coat, like a faux fur coat. You're welcome, PETA. You know, like you just put on with a beautiful thick collar, like you got nothing underneath, and you just put on that coat and you're holding it and you're kind of walking out into the cold air, but you feel hot and warm underneath that coat. You're just feeling your oats, you feel yourself, you feel super sensual, erotic. The heat is on and you feel some type of way and you can conquer anybody and anything. That's opium for me this winter. It's beautiful. And that's how it makes me feel. Like even if it's super cold outside, all I need is that one coat and nothing underneath and I'm good to go. Ah, yeah. How we love thee. The next one is musk, vanilla, amber, resin, more amber, more vanilla, more musk, more resin. Go deeper, add some more gold tones, honey, more resin, more musk. Sprinkle some pepper and powder in there. A floral jasmine oily accord with more amber, more musk. And you get yourself the re-edition of Gaultier by the Power of Two, baby. So this is the reformulation. Last year they've reissued Gaultier by the Power of Two. And I have reviewed that edition, and now they've reissued it again, tweaked the formula. Now it finally smells like the OG from 2005, to my nose. And I do own the OG from 2005 as well. So glad that they've tweaked the form. It is now, and again, Francis Kurjan, another Francis fragrance in the midst. What can I say? Like I just described it, it is so intoxicatingly 2005 synthetic, but in the best of ways. It is like a honey synthetic future flower with thorns and spikes, but it's fluffy and cozy and enveloping and velvety. Look at the color of this juice alone. This is a brand new batch. It's not like this is oxidized, the vanilla has aged. Honey, this is a brand new batch. I just unboxed. Check out the link. I mean, we're talking. Reformulated. And I love that Gautier actually, Puig, the team, that they took the time to perfect it. Because when they re-released it, it was not it for me. Now they've retweaked. They've also updated the print on the bottle. They've updated the design of the packaging. Like, you can see the effort that they're putting into making this just right. They didn't have to. They could have just re-released it and called it a day. It's selling out anyway. But no, they're like, no. Let's get it more refined. And they got it. This current batch is where it's at. It is so beautifully velvet. A beautiful, sharp velvet feeling for winter. And I cannot see the batch code. Because you know how they etch it? Like they laser it into 31571, I want to say. So this one makes you feel really warm in winter. Yeah. Gorgeous. Next one has changed in color because it is a little bit, the vanilla in here has oxidized and it is no longer in production, so you can't buy a new batch, but you want a little bit of a dirty winter, a little bit of a rose, tobacco, marigold, honey, suede, more rose, powder, iris accord. You're going to go for boudoir. And I mean, this usually is a pinky color, but the vanilla turned into this amber, golden amber shade. Bubblegum opening, dirty roll in the hay, post-coital rose honey smell in the closing. This is the walk of shame in winter. This is your winter walk of shame the next morning. IYK. Heat. You see? Well, kind of, it's going up into the stratosphere, this darkness, right? It's kind of going dark, higher. Like, it makes you soar. Just like, Red Bull gives you wings, they say. Well, this one also. Whee! So beautiful. It, dreamy, hopeful, beautiful fragrance. Highly recommend. Unfortunately discontinued. And so scalpers online really ask for a pretty penny for this one, which is such a shame because everybody should experience boudoir. Similar to opium, it gives me that vibe of putting just a fur coat on, faux fur, and nothing else underneath, and just high heels, feeling your vibes, nails, little Dolce & Gabbana vibe bag from the 90s that is reminiscent of the 50s. Anna Magnani holding the little bag. Anyway, that's speaking of Dolce & Gabbana, that's my next one. The OG red cap. Oh my gosh. From the 90s with the mattified stuff. Yeah, this is, the world has frozen up and you discover your Sicilian roots somehow. Your ancestors. And that zesty, fiery Sicilian roots melt all the ice in this new ice age we're going through. So beautiful. Aldehydic bomb in the opening, that soapy, bubbly accord goes into a musky, powdery indolic, Chanel number 5 on steroids vibe. This thing is so intense, especially if you can get the vintage version, Euro Italia. Oh my gosh. How to describe that? I've reviewed it. I've reviewed several iterations of this fragrance on my channel, so go check it out. One of them quite sad. The review of the actual first red cap. But this one makes you feel like you've come out of a Luchino Visconti movie. It makes you feel like there's passion within you that is going to burn and melt anything surrounding you. And perfect for winter. Dolce & Gabbana, pour femme. Perfumes know no gender. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or whatever you are. If it smells good to you, on you, my tip is wear it. Because wear perfumes for yourself, never for others. That's the trick. The next one is another white floral, but so creamy and warm and hot. And it is niche for today's standards. It's Isobey's another gardenia-based flower, and it's called gardenia. Oh, this is gold. Look at this. This is literally the background. Gardenia by Isobey. It also is a fingerprint magnet, so my apologies. It is butter. Musky butter amber. It literally glows from within. It heats up. It heats itself up from within, and it just keeps heating and heating. Even though it's a gardenia, it's like a resinous. It's a resinous-y, lotiony vibe of a gardenia. So sunny in winter. This is a sunshine in a bottle for winter. But it's not a cold flower, it's a warm flower. So it's a white floral that is beautifully warm, beautifully intoxicating for winter. It keeps you warm. Delicious. My mouth waters when I smell this one. This one is just gorgeous. It just makes you feel happy. You're having a bad day in the cold weather, everything is gray around you. You spray on some gardenia, Isobey gardenia, and you're like, oh, okay. Oh, I can actually deal with this. I can deal with this. Gorgeous. So, we've come to the end of our journey. The 10th fragrance, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. And we do have our king, queen, queen, whatever you want to call it. Another fingerprint magnet. We have the monolith. If Stanley Kubrick made a movie about this perfume, he would have designed this bottle. Yeah, if you know, you know. Yeah, just as guessed it, it's cocoa. And it's the eau de parfum in this monolith rechargeable plastic. The beauty about this one is that not only is it an amber accord, what used to be called Oriental, now let's just call it Byzantine. But it also takes you back to a specific time in the 80s. It could also be the 70s, even though this one was released in the 80s. And yes, all of these perfumes follow opium, and opium follows youth dew. There's a kind of a tradition and a chain, and if you kind of go back into the past, you see who influenced who. Nevertheless, this one is powerful enough to stand on its own. That dusty rose accord in here with the aldehydes, the shoulder pads, the 80s shoulder pads, the makeup, the glamour, not being afraid to express yourself. You know, Coco is exuberant, but Coco is also very much in charge. You know, this perfume knows what it wants. It is unapologetic. It wears whatever clothes it wants to wear. It has a wonderful sense of humor, but it will not suffer fools. It will not suffer fools. It is a fragrance that triumphs. It's triumphant. It's triumphant. It is very powerful. I cannot pull it off all the time. It can overpower you. You have to know when to wear it, how to dose it. It, you know, it delivers it delivers like the truth, you know. It delivers identity. Yeah, I think that's the right thing. It delivers identity. It like defines very clearly who you are, what you want, what you need. It's very, very omnipresent and omnipotent. It's so beautiful. And this is also why I love that, unfortunately, not the perfume, but this box, this refillable version in the monolith. And I've been warning you about this since years now. I said, if you want this, get it now, because they're going to discontinue it. And in fact, but you can maybe still find a couple of these bottles in the monolith version. But I love the fact that it's kind of like Stanley Kubrick's Space Odyssey, you know, vibe of this monolith standing there in the middle of, you know, and it's just like as the sun kind of goes around it, it kind of reflects the light and it becomes this beacon of light, and then it kind of turns into this dark black hole with no light. This is old school Coco Chanel. Okay. Coco Chanel's boutiques in the 60s, while she was still alive, they had this darkness, this Baroque Byzantine darkness about them. Today's Chanel fashion boutiques, they're the opposite, you know, quite boring. Light colors, white, gray, everything is light, 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 and kind of hyper modern, but like from the Carl era. So now the boutiques are starting to look a little bit dated because they haven't updated them since Carl passed away. But in my humble opinion, Chanel should go back to the 60s era where Coco Chanel's boutiques were like black. So dark. It was like entering a vampire's gothic castle, entering a Chanel boutique. It was like gold and black. Everything was gold and black. There was darkness in the boutiques, you know, little lights pointing at certain things, refracting gold, costume jewelry, 24 karat gold plated. Ginormous factice bottles of Chanel No. 5 back then, still with, you know, real civet and all that stuff. So light filtering through, showing you that intense brown ambery color, gold ambery color of the perfume. And so it would be gold and black. The boutiques were dark and very gothic. So majestic. So beautiful. Like this. This was the vibe. This is Coco. And that's how it smells as well. It's like carrying the winter inside of yourself. Coping. Knowing that you're stronger than winter, you know? That is the ultimate fragrance for winter. It's so daring. This fragrance is like telling winter, you want to scare me? You got another thing coming. You got another thing coming. I welcome you. Oh, come in. You know, cover everything inside of me with frost and snow and ice. Because I'll be colder than you. I'll be sharper than you. I'll be darker than the darkest days you have to offer in winter. That's Coco. Coco is so challenging and so demanding that she keeps you guessing. And before you know it, winter is over and you've been wearing this perfume. This perfume has gotten you through the worst of times. It's an incredible fragrance. And of course, it had to be kind of at the pinnacle and at the top of the list because it is so special. It is so special. And I dose it sparingly and rarely. You're not going to see this one in a lot of my top lists because I don't overuse it. I don't overabuse it. I want to maintain the special feelings that I have for it virgin, you know, intact. Like when I smell it, I always want it to be like the first time. So I take my time. I spend months and months and months away from cocoa. I don't abuse it, you know. And so that when I return back to it, it gives me those butterflies all over again. It's like the first time all over again. If I were to use it too much, then I would lose that core, that specific zest that it has. And I don't want to lose that ever. So that's why it's sparingly positioned, but very strategically positioned in my videos. Beautiful. That would be my top 10 perfumes for winter 2024. Thumb up this video if you've enjoyed it. Let me know what your top 10 would be. Chisa says the eau de toilette is so powerful too. It is. Every concentration. The extrait as well. All three really are amazing. If you have the luck to have purchased back in the day, they also did the extrait, the 7.5 ml, in this bottle, in this cartridge. Plastic little black and gold thing, tiny, refillable, rechargeable. That's a beauty. To have the extrait in that form, delicious. So let me know your top 10 or 5 or whatever, or 1 for winter. Until next time, never give up on love and subscribe. Bye.